highest paid player in baseball history, and a man many insiders believe might never throw another major league pitch again. That's the paradox of Trevor Bauer, a career built on obsession, intelligence, rebellion, and controversy so constant that it became impossible to separate the pitcher from the chaos surrounding him. Bauer was never supposed to be a physical specimen. By traditional athletic standards, he was behind from the start. Reports described him as having a weak vertical jump, limited raw explosiveness, and as a freshman in high school, a fastball that barely touched 78 miles per hour. He couldn't rely on natural gifts, so he built himself in a different way through pure, relentless fixation on the science of pitching. Mechanics, spin rate, biomechanics, physics. While other kids were just playing, Bauer was studying. That intensity made him an outsider early. He was bullied for wearing baseball pants to school and for spending hours throwing into a fence at a tennis court because he had no one to play catch with. He carried a shoulder exercise device everywhere, even in the classrooms, which classmates and even coaches mocked. He clashed with authority constantly, refusing to abandon unconventional training methods. But results have a way of changing conversations. By his junior year of high school, he was dominant on the mound and one of the best pitchers in his state. Still feeling alienated, he skipped his senior season and enrolled at UCLA early at just 17. College didn't smooth things out. It amplified everything. His relationship with future MLB ace Jarrett Cole was tense from the start, and the two barely spoke. Teammates saw Bauer as intense, isolated, and difficult. They mocked his training tools, hid his equipment, and described him as someone who could snap over small things. Bauer believed deeply in his process. Others saw stubbornness and ego. But again, performance overpowered personality. In 2011, he became the best pitcher in college baseball, won the Golden Spikes Award, and went third overall in the MLB draft. He signed with Arizona in part because they allowed him to continue his unusual development style, weighted balls, advanced video analysis, and experimental routines. But his MLB arrival was anything but smooth. His warm-ups looked extreme. His independence from traditional coaching rubbed people the wrong way. Teammates called him a loner. He shook off catchers constantly, leading to tension, especially with his own battery mate. After internal friction and a reported emotional outburst in the minors, he was traded just 18 months after being drafted, incredibly fast for a top prospect. His response was as unconventional as his training. After the trade, he released a rap song, which many interpreted as a diss toward his former catcher. That moment crystallized his public image. Talented, different, and willing to escalate conflict in the spectacle. In Cleveland, the dual identity sharpened. Some teammates viewed him as arrogant and exhausting. Others credited him as a pitching brain who helped them improve mechanics and strategy. Bauer was constantly experimenting with training, technology, and even hobbies that bled into baseball. One such hobby, flying drones, led to a self-inflicted finger injury before a playoff game, forcing him to leave an important start because the cut wouldn't stop bleeding for years. The narrative around him was interesting personality, inconsistent results. Then 2018 changed everything. He became an all-star, posted elite numbers, and emerged as one of the best pitchers in the league. Suddenly, the weird training didn't look so weird. It looked ahead of its time. At the same time, Bauer leaned harder into social media. He trolled opponents, argued with fans, made controversial comments, and set a goal to massively grow his online following. He engaged publicly in political debates, called out other players, and built a personal brand as baseball's loudest disruptor. He also became one of the most vocal critics of MLB's lack of enforcement around pitchers using sticky substances to increase spin rate, claiming he could boost his own numbers the same way but chose not to. After a rocky 2019, which included a moment where he launched a baseball over the center field fence in frustration after being pulled from a game, he was traded again. Then came 2020. In the shortened season, Bauer delivered the best performance of his career, a 1.73 ERA and a Cy Young Award. His spin rates were among the league's highest, which intensified debate because of his past statements about substances and spin manipulation. That dominance led to a historic contract, the highest annual salary in baseball at the time. But even at his peak, the theatrics continued. He pitched with one eye closed to mock hitters, told batters what pitch was coming, wore cleats to troll opponents, and engaged in constant public feuds with players, agents, media members, and even MLB leadership. To some fans, he was entertaining and refreshingly outspoken. To others, he was a distraction who thrived on conflict. Then, in 2021, the tone shifted dramatically. A woman filed for a restraining order, alleging Bauer assaulted her during 2 encounters and describing serious injuries. Bauer, his agent, and his lawyers denied the allegations. Major League Baseball placed him on administrative leave and opened its own investigation. Law enforcement launched one as well. Another woman later made separate past allegations. In one case, a judge rescinded a restraining order, citing the nature of the relationship, but that did not end the league's process or public scrutiny. Inside baseball, reports suggested the mood changed fast. Some teammates were said to be uncomfortable. Executives and insiders reportedly believed his MLB future was in serious doubt, regardless of legal outcomes. The conversation shifted from talent to risk, public backlash, clubhouse impact, and brand consequences. And that's what makes Trevor Bauer's story so complicated. On one hand, he helped push pitching development into the data-driven future. Weighted balls, high-speed cameras, spin efficiency, things once considered fringe became mainstream, and he was part of that shift. Teammates credited him for sharing knowledge. His work ethic and analytical mind were undeniable. On the other hand, conflict followed him everywhere, with teammates, coaches, opponents, journalists, and the league itself. He blurred the line between confidence and provocation, innovation and defiance. He challenged baseball's culture, but often in ways that created friction instead of unity. Now, his career stands at a crossroads shaped by more than performance. The central question isn't just, can he still pitch at an elite level? It's, is the total package, talent plus controversy, something a team is willing to take on? Trevor Bauer's journey forces a bigger reflection on modern sports. In an era where athletes are brands, personalities, and public figures 24/7, the game no longer ends when the final out is recorded. Reputation, behavior, and public perception carry enormous weight. Talent can open doors, but everything else can close them just as fast. Whether he returns to a major league mound or not, Bauer's legacy will be one of the most complex of his generation, a pitcher who combines science, obsession, skill, and spectacle, and whose career became a case study in how brilliance and controversy can rise together. If you found this story gripping and want more deep dives into the athletes who change sports on and off the field, hit subscribe and share this with someone who loves the drama behind the game.